Okay, this is going to be probably a very short film as a video response to Scott, Wessex Blades Williams, where he was asking for people to post films of his work. I'll stop saying I'm your prat. It's going to be a bit scrappy because I'm working with that on a new. I'll be using a new computer. I don't have any video editing software I'm familiar with at the moment, and also using a camera I'm not used to. So here we go. Ignore these are just the markers for where I should be in frame relatively. First one, bought before the Bushcraft Show 2013. First item I had from Scott, I think, and that was this, which is a capable little bushcraft knife. One of the reasons I really liked this knife was it was originally made on a blank that came from Del Weber at Dirty Room Knives, as was, who then evolved into Redpath, and in turn has evolved into Weber blades. Some of the names I believe still interchangeable on the website and what have you. More of him later. This, as I say, was the first knife I had from Scott. Solid, fine work. What can I say? This has been my basically you do it all utility blade since I got it. It's done everything from cutting cheese to hacking away at anything I wanted to move in the garden, the workshop, wherever. It's been hanging around whenever I've been out camping. Not as often as I would like. And obviously came with its own sheath, stitching. Scott always did little details like the return. The stitching was made up of the number of characters in the person's name, I believe, which offered an opportunity of identification. Now I don't know whether you'll see this, but the it's got the Wessex blade identification medallion on it with the I'm not sure which Greek element it is, to be honest, but that on and WB embedded into it as well. You know, a standard sheath for Scott, that stitching strong, treated, edge coated, dangler. What more can you say? It came with this, the interesting and at the time unique fire steel, which you can probably see. It's got the triple steel in there, and also a bearing for if you wanted to do any bow drilling and you wanted a bearing block. You've got one automatically in your fire steel. So that was my first experience, 2013. I had that before the 2013 Bushcraft Show, the really wet one. If people went, they'll remember it. We were camped on what was fundamentally a water meadow come swamp. Right, first blade. Did I like Scott Williams blades? Well, I went back for this. This is about a year ago. And this is something my sister saw a picture of actually on Facebook, and she immediately messaged me and said, "Oh God, Will, you should see this knife that I've just seen a picture come up of." She wasn't even sure how it came up on her page, but it was through my being a friend of Scott's. And she saw this and said, "You really need to look at this guy's work." And I said, "Sally, I sort of camped with him a couple of times and I've bought from him, including that one you're showing me. That is mine. And it's excellent. My go-to knife for most of my life, and that includes man and child, going back to when I was 7 carrying knives, 50 odd years, 55 years, and my go-to knife has always been a kukri. I love cookeries. I've always carried cookeries, whatever I've been doing, and this was the only knife that ever came close to displacing cookeries in my affection. The heft and the movement in this blade, it's as if it's inherent, almost the spirit of the blade itself, is superb. I always call it a forward cant recurve, but apparently it's called a rake. Someone informed me now, just yesterday actually. This whole slight shift and the deepening into the belly of the blade gives the whole blade a geometry that works in a cut. It really does. This blade wants to work. It doesn't matter what you want to give it, this blade wants to do it. Now I love that blade. I think the Luku is the pinnacle of Scott's work. I really do. And his leather work has to be seen in close up to be believed. Now, I don't know how well this will show up. I can't actually see the back of the camera without breaking my neck. But wolf howling at the moon, stitching, drain hole welted all the way around, studded. Got redundancy there, which is great. Matching fire steel sleeve, also stamped, even a little bit of character stitching going on there. I don't know what to say. You know, I go back to this guy. I go back to buy his work. The wood, it's superb. Can't say much more about it. That was about a year ago. And again, as I say, one of my favourite ever knives, style of knives. I love them to bits. In fact, I love them that much that this was my next purchase. This is unbelievable. You may have seen it, some of you, in the video Scott did of it. It looks pretty impressive in that video. It is more impressive in real life. This is insanely good. It's another Luku. It's in a heavier stock, so it's thicker, it's heavier. You can feel the difference in the heft. It's also got a darkened blade, ferric oxide, Scott. Again, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. It's got a beautiful wych elm, which has got a superb burl thing going on in there, and it's weird. It's one of those woods. It's as if there's things in there looking out at you. It's quite strange, but this is beyond special. Beyond special. It really is. It's a pleasure to hold. It's solid. It's heavy. Again, I don't know what to say. Everything I said about the first Luku applies to this Luku with bells on. It's amazing. I said to him that I picked up a hint that it was my knife that he was showing in something, my blade that he was showing. He hadn't dressed it out yet, and I said if that was mine, I'd call it the Raven. And then we got into a discussion, because he was working on one for me at the time. He was working on 3 for 2 other lads and 1 for me. And he said, sort of, what would you be fancying in terms of the sheath? And I said, well, I'd call the blade Raven, flatten. And something to do with Nordic Raven style design. He came up with this straight away. He literally in seconds showed me a drawing for this. I don't know whether that will show that Raven. We'll try and I hope it will. It's a shame if it doesn't, because this guy's work deserves to be seen. There we go. And not only that, on the extended side here, he's put runes in that spell my name. Now again, some people might get a bit hyper aware here and say, but they're not all Futako, they're not all from one type of rune or the type of rune. They're not. He went for a mix to try and get the purest sound to reflect the stresses in the way my name's pronounced, because it's often pronounced wrongly, which really pisses me off. As you see, the sheath is flap over. I love that, the security that gives you. If this sheath opens, you hear it go, you feel it go, you know it's gone. It's solid, it's beautifully made. The time he puts into this work is ridiculous, and it's self-defeating in a way. I've said to him, you are putting too much time into your work. Your cost-effective issue could become a real problem. It's like cutting my nose off to spite my face, because this is beyond glorious, this thing. And also, I mean, the back piece, the extra detail, you've got I've forgotten the name of Odin Allfather's spear. I can't remember what it's called now. A stylized representation of that, which is reflected in the shape of the whole piece. You also have, when this undoes, this takes off. He knows I've got a history of underarm carry with things, and he knows I like that. So this is designed so that it can go on basically a shoulder rig. I can carry it on a shoulder harness, and ease of access to it. It's still movable. I can present it to my hand for easy get at. This undoes, comes off, and you've got normal sheath carry, you've got dangler carry. It's a wonderful piece of work. I also acquired at the same time, if you want other things, I've just got I got this because it reflects the wood. Scott will do fire steels, I would have thought, in pretty much any wood he's got available or any wood he can get hold of. Okay, this was the last piece that I've had from him. I tell a lie, I bought a couple of his West keys as well. They're worth having a look at. What can I say? Artist, craftsman, skilled technician, teacher, generous of spirit, and good bloke to camp beside. If you ever get a chance to go to a meet he's at, go, say hello, take a look at his stuff, because he's actively displaying now. And that's it. Except I'll say that this and this is my evolutionary experience of Scott Williams's work. Starting here, going there. And would I recommend him to anyone who wants a knife? Yeah, I would. And what I would say to everybody, what I would say about all the British knife makers, is because of the problems the pound's having, the prices may have to go up. Bear with that. Their work's worth it. It really is. Be sensible about that. They're not putting money, if they're putting their prices up, it's to cover the cost of importing a lot of the gear they use, which is unavoidable for them because a lot of it's not available too well in Britain. And the pound thing will hurt them. So keep that in mind. Okay, that's it. I hope that'll do, Scott. It's been very off the cuff, unscripted, and probably rubbish, but there you go, mate. Best wishes to you. I hope you do well in the future, and I hope you go from strength to strength, because your work certainly is. It just gets better and better and better. Can't be faulted. Huge thanks for the work you've done for me. Cheers, Scott.